second? Okay, brilliant. Okay. Very excited today, joined by the lovely Kieron Richardson, currently starring in the stage adaptation of Band of Gold.
Yes.
Here at the Mayflower. It's here until Saturday?
Yes, Saturday the 8th.
Saturday the 8th. And it's an amazing show. We watched it last night.
Did you enjoy it?
I did, I loved it.
Did you watch the original TV
I
version?
did, I'm old enough to remember the original TV show. Did you
See,
watch
I shouldn't have watched it, but I did because many moons ago in the 90s, my dad used to work in television,
Right.
and he said one Saturday, I'm working on this new show called Band of Gold, do you want to come and see it? So he took me to the set, and I got to see it all, and then we used to go all the time, and no one had heard of it because it had not been on television then. So when it was coming on, I was like, I know I'm not old enough and supposed to watch it, but please can I watch it? And I watched it, and obviously being around Geraldine James and all these amazing actors, I was like, I want to be an actor when I grow up, so it's kind of come full circle.
So that's an amazing story.
Yeah.
So to be in this and this be something that
How it all started off, really.
That's
yeah.
amazing. It's very gritty, isn't it?
Yeah, it's funny, it's dark, we've got singing in it, there's no dancing,
No dancing.
yeah, heavy violence, there's bits of everything, and there's some rude bits with rubber gloves.
Yeah, that made me laugh, I have to say. So tell us about the character that you play in the show.
So I play a character called Steve Dixon, and he is someone that struggles with his emotions, he's quite aggressive, he's a drinker, he's currently split up from his wife Gina because he's been handy with his fists and it's just been one too many times, so she kicks him out of the house. At this point in the story they haven't seen each other for about 3 weeks, so then you see him outside the house, he's come to find Gina, thinks everything's going to be fine because time's passed, and then it evolves into more violence, and then something happens to Gina and Steve becomes prime suspect.
In a nutshell.
Yes.
In a nutshell. Because obviously there is domestic violence in this, which is something that you've dealt with previously.
We did it in Hollyoaks,
Yeah.
my character, we did
Yeah.
teenage domestic abuse
Yeah.
with Steve and Amy. Typecast, I keep getting called Steve and everything I play.
I was about to say,
Yes.
just to confuse it.
And then when the character explored his sexuality and got in a relationship with Brendan, we flipped it and the abuser became the abused. So
you were able to use your experiences
Yes.
previously to bring it
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
this character. So when we were talking to Kay last week, she mentioned that people had come to see the show, known you were in it, and then said to her afterwards, oh, I thought he was in it, and actually completely not recognised you. I guess that's kind of a nice thing for someone to
yeah,
say.
and it's for me, I played the same character in a show for 13, nearly 14 years, so people are only used to seeing me like that. I, myself, thinking, am I only capable of playing the same character? So then to get the challenge to do this and play someone that's completely different to myself and my soap character, with the guidance of Kay and the reaction that we're getting of the audience, not being able to recognise me, whether it's the floppy hair and the beard or what. Yeah, it's been a good reaction. I'm pleased I've done it.
Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, it's very different.
Yeah.
But because of the cast that we've got, I'm learning so much from Gaynor and Laurie and Kay. So I'm glad I've done it. So when I do go back to Hollyoaks, I know I'll definitely be a better actor.
That's cool. How different is it though? Because with this,
Oh, it's so different because you only get one shot at getting it
Exactly.
right. And to be honest with you, I've got an easy role because I'm only in 4 scenes.
Yeah.
All the men, we've got 4 scenes each. It's mainly about the women.
Yeah.
And the women are the heroes of the show, so they've got the tough job. But you have to make sure that you know your lines, because in television you get another shot of doing it. With this, it's just once, and the audience are right there, so when someone
Yeah.
coughs, you're reminded, oh my god, they're sat right next to us. So, yeah,
Is
it's quite
anything gone
intimidating.
disastrously wrong on stage?
Little things go wrong all the time, especially because I've got quite a lot of physical scenes. I have to kick a bin at some point, and sometimes the bin has gone a bit close to the audience, so someone could, I'm like, please don't hit someone in the face with a bin. Last night I kicked the bin and it was positioned too close to the door, so a door opened when it shouldn't have opened. So small things happen like that, but I guess that's what live theatre is.
Yeah.
People like it when things go wrong.
So just on a slightly different subject, I rewatched the documentary this morning. I remembered watching it the first time, but I thought I'll rewatch it. Such an incredible thing that you did. And you campaign, don't you, for...
Yeah, because it's still quite a new thing. I know I've done it now, Tom Daly's done it, and I think the more that we make it normal, and just because I share a bed with a man at night time shouldn't mean I shouldn't be a parent. So that's the message that we're trying to get across, and we've been invited to Parliament to change the legislation, and make it a lot easier and accessible for same-sex couples.
Which
to
it should be in the
yeah.
first place. So has there been any sort of development with that? Because obviously I know that you're campaigning to change some of the laws, so...
Yeah, and also the cost, it is very expensive,
Yeah,
and we need to find ways to make it more accessible for people to do it. I know the NHS, you can do the IVF like that, but how you find surrogates, there's websites which can help you, but again, sometimes there's cost involved in that, which is quite expensive. You can't pay a surrogate because it's illegal to do that, but there is expense involved in that because a surrogate is going to have to take maternity, and you've got to find money to cover costs for medication. So it is expensive, so we need to find an easier way to do it.
You had quite a good positive reaction from other same-sex couples to say...
Nothing, but I get messages all the time, and
Yeah.
the documentary was like 2 years ago, and I still get messages every day saying, help me, where do I go, how do I find a surrogate?
And people like me
this,
asking
yeah.
you. So how are the kids now? Because they must be, what, three?
They're 3 in May.
Yeah.
The toughest thing about this job is the touring bit and
Yeah.
not being at home as much as I like to. They're coming to see me next week in Birmingham for the whole week, so I'll take them to zoos, and I think there's a place called
Cadbury
Drayton
World.
Manor, which is Cadbury's World.
Yeah.
And then last week we were in Darlington, and I couldn't cope not seeing them anymore, so I just kept driving back every night. It's only 2 hours.
Yeah.
But they break my heart when they're like, are you coming home today, Daddy? So yeah, it's hard.
I have to talk about Holly Eggs, obviously. Steve's a great character. He's had some of the best storylines.
Woo woo. Don't I know it?
I mean, you have though. I mean, you've been 14 years. You said you've been in the show for.
14 years we've done, like I said before, teenage domestic abuse, same-sex couple, and that was an abusive relationship. I was the first gay character to contract HIV. I've had a drug addiction. Got cold turkey on crystal meth. I nearly kissed my dad. I killed my mother by euthanasia. I've been radicalised into a far-right group. I've done a bit of comedy here and there. I've done quite a lot.
You have done quite. He is a brilliant character, isn't he?
I'm excited to want to go back. 'Cause it's like a clean slate, because he's been away from the villages in Newcastle trying to become de-radicalised, so it's like a clean slate to come back, and hopefully he would have changed.
Yeah. That was a great storyline as well.
Yes.
And you got a bit of abuse about that. Did you get?
Yeah, just online, of when people don't know about things and don't know how to take it, and maybe they like the character one way and now they would completely turn it in this way. And obviously he was saying racist things, which is awful, so people naturally were saying horrible things to me, and yeah, I did take it personal at first.
Do people sometimes find it hard to
Differentiate?
separate?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was reading the comments online that hated the character but were directing at me. So then the next day when I was going into work and filming a scene, I was watering down the performance because I didn't want to offend the people that didn't like it. But you can't do it like that, so I had to come off social media.
Yeah.
Back on it now because the whole storyline's over. Yeah.
So do you know what's going to happen with him when he goes back? Do you
know
watch
nothing.
it? You know nothing. So until that script lands on your doorstep,
And
you've got
I'm
no idea.
ashamed to say I've not watched a single episode since leaving. Not because I'm not in it,
Because you're too busy.
but it's because I'm always on stage when it's on, so I miss it. I'm getting ready to
So
start
you're going to get
the
there
show.
and you're going to not know what's
I don't
going
know
on.
what's gone on. I still follow them on Instagram, so I see
Yeah.
loads of new faces, so I'll have new friends to meet and old faces, yeah.
Do you think you'd like to play more of a lighter role rather than all these serious, gritty things that you like?
I like the challenge of having the meaty storylines, because my life's quite boring sometimes, so to go and play this character that's crazy for 12 hours a day and do wild and wonderful things, that challenges me, so I like that, yeah.
It must be hard to come down from though, with the, really...
It's quite easy. I live half an hour from the studio. I literally get in the car, whack on some Girls Aloud, and I'm fine again.
That's fair enough. I had a look as well today, as I said. I'm good at my job. Your Brendan storyline with Brendan seems to have won the most awards that Hollyoaks has won the whole time it's been on.
Yeah.
And it's one of the most popular.
It's one of the most talked about. That's still all the time now. People go on about.
It was a great storyline. He was a great character.
It's all the bring back Brendan.
Yeah.
It's a constant thing that I hear every day.
Is.
And I'm like, it's not up to me.
It's not
I
up
can't
to
do
you,
it.
you know.
He's very busy and he's been very successful. So
He's been very successful.
yeah. If one day he doesn't get a job, then fingers crossed he might come back. But I don't see that happening in the near future.
You never know. Were you a fan of it before you were in it?
Yeah, I used to watch it as a kid, and Jambo and Tony and all that, so then to go there and work with Nick Picard, who plays Tony, it's like walking into the telly. Yeah.
Can you remember the first scene you filmed?
The first scene I filmed was on a park, on a swing, and my first ever line was, they're not fish, they're mammals. Dolphins, they live in the sea and they swim in that, but they're not fish. Yeah.
So what's next for you? You're going back to Hollywood.
So I do this tour with Band of Gold until the 21st of March, and then back in contract with Hollyoaks on the 22nd of March. So hopefully I will be back on screen by June, because I think by the time it gets in telly, it's probably June.
Cool. Do you think you'd do something like this again?
Yeah, anything. I've always got my fingers in loads of different pies, and yeah, if an opportunity comes up, yeah, I'd like to take it.
Thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you.